Welcome to those who made it for today's morning. If you do not mind, I would like to call you to come closer to us, and we can take this advantage of a really intimate atmosphere to have everyone involved in our discussion. So today we'll be talking about responsible gambling and who is responsible for that. I'm going to make a bit of a longer introduction for the panel, but before that I wanted to introduce our panelists a little bit more, and I hope they can add to anything that I have not included properly in it. So the first to my left is Lars Kollind. He brings 20 years of senior commercial experience across different operators, suppliers, aggregators, platform businesses. So we can say that his experience and expertise is quite diverse. Companies like Relax Gaming, Swing, iSoftBet, or Aspire Global. So he brings practical perspective from commercial side of the industry, which is very important for this discussion. And also he can see where growth, retention, player behavior, and responsible gaming increasingly overlap. Welcome, Lars.
Thank you so much.
Second panelist is Darina Nicolina. She comes from the acquisition and affiliate side of the industry. That part of the industry, as everybody knows, deals with traffic, conversion, marketing performance, and also player acquisition on scale. So a lot of numbers, a lot of statistics. But this is also an important perspective for this discussion because responsibility lies in this area as well. And it often becomes complicated because you have commercial pressure and also the responsible requirements. Welcome, Darina.
Thank you.
And the last panelist to the mix is Katie Di Stefano. She has experience across player engagement, CRM, VIP players, also brand strategy, marketing. She brings perspective. Brings perspective from the relationship side of the industry, how operators communicate with players, how to retain them, how to build loyalty, and also where exists the line between engagement, entertainment, and responsibility. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you.
Would any of you would like to add anything from your background which would be relevant to this discussion?
I don't. I mean, my expertise is quite long. I've been in the industry for 20 years. I haven't been in the affiliation business, so that's possibly one of the areas I haven't been. So I will bring a lot of knowledge from more from the supplier side of things, and how we can maybe work together with operators to make sure that the games are more on the responsible side, and less, how should I put this, less volatile. That's basically my input on this.
What I can say, I've been in industry around 7 years. All my experience related to operator side. So even in Rocks Partners, we have our own brands, and actually we are the casinos, and we are the first and the last beneficiary of all this story. And for us, the side of responsibility in iGaming, it's something very relevant, and because we are actually really interested to attract the player, to hold the player, to motivate him to play more and more and to invest in our business money. But at the same time, we have our direct risks, and one wrong step and we can lose the license, we can lose the brand and everything. So it's always about balance, and this is really interesting discussion for me, and thank you for inviting. That's all from my side.
So I've been in the industry 15 years, and I would say the first 7 years I was customer facing. I was working with customer support and VIP management. So I was talking to a lot of players that not only came out and had like gambling addiction, but also help prevent it and make sure as much as possible that I wouldn't have that much of a bad experience with them. But then later on, I've also worked with an affiliation side. We launched an affiliate website in the US where our goal was to focus on responsible gambling first and try to educate players about online casino and online sports betting as it was very new to them. And yeah, I can go into that responsible gaming experience later on. But yeah, that's what I've done before.
Thank you very much for adding a few words. And even though it might seem quite unusual for RG panel to have such a combination, I believe that it is quite the opposite, and it would be our advantage for this discussion. Because, you know, when you speak about responsible gambling, most of the time everybody agrees. But then if the responsibility falls to everybody without anything specific, it often happens that no one is really responsible. And since, as based on Reno model, the right approach towards responsible gambling is a combined action with all the stakeholders trying to achieve the same thing, we all have our role to play. But as it is in reality, these roles differ. There are different requirements, different expectations, different pressures, and also different positions which we need to approach this. So I would like to take advantage of this combination of people and have a candid discussion about what we can do from different parts of our gambling ecosystem, different stakeholders, in order to get to a more sustainable environment with us. But before we will dive into it, we would like to focus this also a little bit on a personal level. So I would like to start with a question for each of you, and I would like you to describe to me your first and most intense experience with responsible gambling or with gambling related harm. I can imagine that each of you started your journeys on different places, but I'm sure that there has been something which was a moment for you that you have remembered. And we will change the order and we will start with Katie.
Okay, so this is my first and like proper big experience with responsible gaming was I started in the gambling industry when I was 19 years old, and I started in customer support, and I was managing customer support for many different languages. And I obviously had like 2 weeks training, I think, before I started in customer support. We got a little bit knowledge of responsible gaming. And I think I'd been in the role just a couple of months, definitely less than 6 months, when I got a phone call from a customer who threatened to kill himself if I didn't deposit all of his money back, or I gave all of his deposits back, more or less. And he was saying everything from that he had taken money from his kids' piggy banks down to like he was going to end his life and it would be my responsibility, my fault. And as a 19-year-old, like, what do you say? What do you do? I had my manager was next to me, and he was able to listen in on the call. But the only thing he really said to me was, "You have to stay on the call. You cannot hang up. No matter what, you have to stay on the call. It has to be his choice. The only thing you can do is just give him like helpline numbers. You can direct him to websites, but you cannot hang up." So I just had to sit there and listen to him, and it was horrible, and I will never forget it. And afterwards, of course, for a long time, I used to like, we locked his account straight away, but we had a lot of other different brands. So I would go in and check if I could find him, and it's something that deeply, deeply affects me until this day. Like, I want to try to make sure as much as possible that not only like we don't have like players who get addicted and get to that point, but that we also have more experienced customer support that doesn't like we have to have someone to forward those types of call to that actually knows how to handle those situations. But yeah, that's one that really stuck with me.
Thank you. That I believe it was a very intense experience, and I would also think that there are many individuals like yourself who would end up in such a situation without being prepared for something like that. And I think it's one of the areas where also the responsible gambling part of the industry and player protection part of the industry are lacking behind, because we are not really talking about this topic. And it could happen to anybody in any casino. It's just how life goes, and it's important to be prepared for such situations for the sake of the player, but also for the sake of the person who is like yourself on the other side of the line, because it can be traumatic. And if you are prepared for such calls, the overall conclusion and the overall impact could be much better. Thank you very much for sharing it. Darina?
I wanted also to highlight that now we're facing these cases in our casinos on daily basis. Every third player who lose money, he's coming and popping up this subject that he's gonna kill himself. Of course, we understand that 99.9% of them, they're not going to do this. And this is the way how they manipulate, because they know that after this, we're taking our proper steps, that of course we're going to block him, we're going to have discussion, we're going to refund maximum what we can do from our side. But yes, I completely understand like how customer support can feel, because you never know, and maybe this 0.1% can be on your hands, and we are not ready for this. Also, I wanted to highlight that we are, as a brand, we never, not one client worth the risk to lose our license, to lose our brand on the platform, and we are never gonna cross this line, keep retaining the player who has this threat, who threatens us in this way, because it just doesn't make really profit out of it. Regarding my case, my case was not so dramatic, but still, like I had the player, he was investing, he was depositing in the casino, and his wife, she sent message that he's a gambler addicted person, he sold already his car, he sold everything, please block his account, etc. Of course, we took our steps and we closed his account, and then I see that within 1 hour he does registration on our another brand on the same platform. Just I can see that it's the same person. Of course, he's not aware that we're the same company. And he started playing the same way. He had the same player behavior. So what he actually did, he was playing roulette. When he plays roulette, his usually players, they deposit a lot of money. It's not like 20 euro minimum deposit, and we can't do retention based on bonuses, on wager. We can't increase this wager limit or whatever. So what we decided to do, because we understood that this is the problem, that he's a gambler addicted and he already lost money, we started giving him 200 euro once per week with the max. He was not able to deposit nothing else, and he was not able to withdraw more than, like we also set this limit. In the end, he learned, like we teach him how to play on small amounts, and I don't know like what happened after, to be honest, but I know for several, I believe 1 year, he was keep playing in our casino with the quite it was not crazy amount of money. It was like up to 5,000 euro per month. But before, he used to spend in one night like 30, up to maximum it was 68,000 euro. He spent just in one on roulette in one night. So was it good? Should we block him? Maybe yes. Will he stop playing forever? Of course, no. He will go and find another casino where he can spend all this money. Can I say that we teach player how to play responsibly? It also sounds really weird, like we're teaching a gambler addicted person how to play. that's weird. But was it helpful for him? Yes, it was. And in the end of the day, we got a player who is loyal to casino. He has special support from our side, like he's super VIP, not player, not because like we give him super bonuses, just because it's a different approach how we retain him, because we know he's high risk player. But yeah, that was the story. I don't know how moral and ethical it sounds, but we all are in this industry, and this, I believe, this is the step we could have proud from our side. Because could we retain him more hard and more cruel? Yes, of course, but we chose another way. Thank you.
Thank you, Darina. I believe this is what you call a rapid start for a discussion like this. So we started to talking about the most severe cases and the cases where really gambling harm can cause someone's life. And as a matter of fact, there is a majority of gamblers who are gambling on a different spectrum of problem gambling. They could be gambling without any issues, but it's those couple of percentages which basically force us to do these actions and to help with that. And I hate to brag about any work that we would be doing, but I think it's appropriate to say that as part of our Casino Guru Academy, we have released course on suicide prevention. It's the only course out there on the internet which is freely accessible to any operator, almost anyone on the internet. And it helps exactly this, to prepare for such situations and ideally de-escalate them towards the position where both parties are in a more calmer state. Lars, what is your first experience?
So I'm not sure if you people are aware, and even the panel are aware, but way back in the day when I started my gaming career, I used to own a poker club in Stockholm, and obviously we became big, so we had around 3,000 members after like a year or so. So we became one of, I think, Europe's biggest poker club, or tandem with the one in the UK. And we quickly realized that, and we didn't have any table games, no slot games, nothing, but we quickly realized that there were players there, young players, 18, 20, and so forth, that actually were playing way too much, and some of them became problem players. So compared to the state casinos in Sweden, who actually didn't have any back then any implementation of responsible gaming whatsoever. We were a private poker club, and this was basically low stakes poker, and that was it. But they still gambled way too much, and some of them obviously had a problem. So we took active steps, me and the owners, to confront them, talk to them, and some of them, after a while, came to us and actually said that, yeah, I have a problem, and we offered them to go to special places, get help, and obviously we banned them from our poker club. And what we also did, even though we, in reality, obviously 20 something years ago, this poker club was not 100% legal, I still made phone calls to Casino Cosmopol and told about this person, this name, on this person's behalf. Obviously, I got his permission to do so, and said that you should not let this person into play because he has asked me. And that is something that I'm really proud of. So that person, or these people, I think it was around 10, who we actively helped during this period, they are not playing anymore. They stopped playing, and we had no interest of having them down in the poker club and actually walking home broke every day and feeling like shit. The idea of having the poker club was to have fun and have people to enjoy the game and actually enjoy the player experience. So that's what we did, and this was real life, face-to-face interactions with people. Obviously, then later on, now in my career, when I'm doing online, I'm getting everything from LinkedIn messages to people coming up to me and basically telling me that I'm an asshole who's promoting gambling, etc., etc. So this is something that I take very, very seriously, and I think that overall, if we do this correctly, and actually make sure that, okay, fine, a player who plays high stakes, put in a lot of money, deposit every day, he might be a fantastic revenue earner for the casino or whatever it might be. But this is short-term thinking, and this is something that I think we need to address today, that we need to think long-term and how to keep the ecosystem working with happy players. And also, it's very damaging for the industry if we don't.
Can I just jump in? Sorry. I don't think it's only long term. I think we have to be more proactive. Like we have to work a lot more on the before they even start an account. Like that's when they should know about all the risks and how to avoid it. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and you are touching the great point in this, because the thing I was thinking about when you were speaking, that we've been discussing severe cases, as I was saying before. But then each of you took an approach which was very personal, very detailed, and you are unable to do it with every player. So the success with reducement of gambling-related harm is in scaling it. So creating systems which would help everyone to play within their limits. And that is the real question, which answer or its solution comes from contribution from different sides. And the thing you said, Katie, that relies to that very well. But I wanted to touch upon the thing Darina said about the case, because as it is with self-harm threats, but also with self-exclusion requests, you cannot be 100% sure whether there is real harm going on and whether this person is really in that situation, or whether it is a way for them to achieve something. And I believe in a commercially driven environment, this is something which is being considered, because then if you will be just blocking everybody at the start of their communication, you might end up in a situation that you will just closing the doors for your business and just opening doors for others without that person suffering. And it's a very difficult position to be in. So I would like to ask you, Darina, when in such a performance-driven environment, how often is this responsibility the part of these conversation, and how you would be able to find out whether it is really the case of someone experiencing harm or just someone trying to get a bonus or something else from you?
Actually, I believe with the experience, we see and we can understand when player starts to manipulate. Also, platform, they share with us information about the players. And okay, let's start from the very beginning. We have different, diversify players, like general players, those who do just really small deposits. And different casinos, they have they call it differently, like bronze, silver, gold, or VIP 1 to 3. It's not about only the bonus what we offer. We do social portrait of every player who cross some amount lines. For example, 90% of all players, they are not crypto depositors, so we can check the history of their payments. For example, if it's a bank, we always do request to the bank to check if they play with the bank credit money, or if they, I don't know, already sold something or whatever. Like our customer support, like it's a VIP department, actually, not customer support. They have a lot of tools to get this information about the person, and we know every VIP player who plays and on what money from, where he got it, how he spends. So I can say that almost never we are finding us out in position that, oh my God, we didn't know that all these huge volumes of money are because he sold the apartment house or whatever and he lost something. No, like if somebody tells you this, I believe like they don't work well or they just lie, because we know from where this money comes. The second point that, as I mentioned already, we are strictly regulated by the platform. And it's in our interest not to lose this loyalty from the platform, and we don't want to get troubles from them, because of course if there is a self-exclusion request and we don't close the account, we're gonna have big problems. So I can tell only for Rocks partners, if we have this request, yes, we can see that most of them it's emotional request, and most probably we will find the same player on our second brand, third brand, or wherever. He will not go out from the platform. He will keep playing, but it's obligation. We close these accounts. We don't push them to play forward, unfortunately, maybe for us. About all this responsible story, like how often we think about it, like of course it's not something that we have in our mind on daily basis, but this is that implements in our business strategy, because as I mentioned, we can lose our brand if we have like loud case or we have start having problems, or for example, person plays with the bank credit money, then he has the right to request the charge back, and bank can take all this money back. So bank will find out that this is the casino where he spends all his funds, and we're gonna lose the payment methods, etc. And once we lose payment methods, it's not our brand personal, like it's all the platform lose. So this is something that we can lose more than we win from keep retaining the excluded player. And this would point one. Also, I think that this is a part for affiliate part, because when we all are hunting for first time depositors most of the time, and affiliates, they see that the lifetime of the most of the players, it can be 3 or 4 months. In this case, I believe it's their part sometimes to think how do they attract the new players, and they have also to use their tools how to do it more lifetime, how to attract. Sorry, I'm just confused on my mind, my thoughts. It's affiliates, they must think about this part of the subject as well. So for example, they don't use on their creatives free spins or something that is just impulsive moment to deposit right now and then to disappear forever. They can do it. It's more, sometimes it's more expensive, not sometimes, it's always more expensive, but it works better always.
Thank you. So, from what you've been saying, the first point that I got was that when you are unsure about whether there is a real harm going on, you will lean on data and you will take a look what are the spendings, where the money is coming from. Literally, when there is a chance that the person might be experiencing gambling harm and might be in risk. This is something that, from my perspective, not all the operators who are required to do are doing it. I've quite often met with the position that companies would rather do not know this, because then it would somehow impair and somehow change their decision making. And it applies especially when you are dealing with VIP players, players that are spending a lot of money. UKD had experience working with VIP players. So my question to you is, when there is a line between engagement and bringing the real entertainment for VIP players and also making them spending the money, and where is the line between manipulation and trying to get most of them?
I think it's like, so a lot of the rules has changed over the years, like going back to what Irina said and like what you can and can't say. Like 15 years ago, you could say Risk, for example. Like there was a whole brand called Risk. Now you can't say that, or Bet Now, and like all of that stuff. So manipulation-wise, it changes, right? But I believe for me, one of the things I really struggled with when it came to manipulation, or how to say, was when it was big winners. When you have someone who wins a jackpot or like just a lot of money. And of course, it was part of my job to having to call them, congratulate them, but also offer a bonus, because we want that money back. There's also been times where I've seen payments, for example, hold the money extra long just because they might actually cancel the payment and then, play for it anyway. And those tactics, I don't know, honestly, if people still do, like operators still do this today, but that's back in the day what we did. One thing that I think changed the game and made me feel more comfortable with my players, my VIP players, was when we started with Source of Wealth, just like Irina said. And we were able to actually see that the players earned enough money to cover the amount that they were spending. And unfortunately, we did lose a lot of VIP players when Source and Wealth came into force, especially in the UK. But I think it's for the better good. I think that's what we have to do. And I think going back to, again, to like be proactive, I wish that I would have, back in the day, even the first call I had with my VIP players, told them about, you can set limits, you can do this and that, But again, I was so young in the industry, or we as an industry were so young, we didn't really focus on it as much as we do today. But yeah, that's my two cents.
I wanted to mention, I have interesting case about this, what you mentioned, that it's very easy to deposit and very hard to withdraw. We had it's case happens with us 1 year ago. We had player from France. He deposited $200, not more, and he won 140,000 euro. It was all one set, and we have to. He requests, of course, the withdrawal. We wanted to proceed, and we asked the KYC because obviously in casino. To deposit, you don't need nothing. To withdraw, you need to pass through KYC. And he rejected to do this. He sent a lot of messages in customer support that we are scammers, that we do this, like we show like that he won a lot of money just to get this information, personal details from him. He closed his account and he writes in all like Trustpilot, everywhere reviews that we are a scam casino, that lie that he wins a lot of money. But still now he has this balance on his account. I hope he doesn't hear me, but he can come and withdraw this money anytime. So yes, some people with these huge wins, they I was surprised and shocked that he didn't. Of course, the first intent is to go and take all and be happy.
But I think going like it's not only casino. So I've had a personal experience with like a personal friend who won an insane amount on lottery, and the same thing happens for lottery. Like he did give some of the money away and spend it, but majority he deposited back because it's that thinking now that you're thinking that you will win again. You have the chance. Like it's just the first time you win, right? But
And also is in interest of many operators that they will get a portion of that money back. But then comes the other side when the person is satisfied with the money and is able to withdraw it because of the like their connection to the brand, they might spend the money back during the longer period of time because they want to have that kind of entertainment. But I would like to turn this to Lars, and we are running out of time. I didn't even realize we should end in like 5 minutes, and we will hopefully have a time for one question. But you, Lars, your experience from different companies, I believe that your perspective on responsible gambling would be through systems. So the question is how what does it actually mean to have responsibility by design within this? Because we've heard a couple of things and areas that we can look into, but if you put all that together, how it could work in a company successfully.
So my thinking is this. So this basically two steps. So I'm gonna touch on AI after, but first of all, obviously the business is extremely good, and have been working hard, very hard, to make sure that we have basically pinpoint exactly. We know the players, we know the patterns, we know when we're gonna shoot the CRM message, we know when we're gonna do this, we know exactly when to do what to make sure that they actually deposit, that they keep playing, all of this. So if we have all this data and we can pinpoint actually down to the player on exactly what to do and when to do what, why not twist that around as well? And going back to what Katie said, that we can be much more proactive, for sure. We know exactly, we can track the pattern of this player, and you see that, okay, this player has deposited, just making up a stupid number now, but 20 times in the last 24 hours, or this person is obviously spending way too much money than the person can afford. So something is off here, and that player is not going to be a good representative of our brand when he loses the last penny, or she, and then go out and tell in forums or brands or in newspapers, in the worst case scenario, that we are a shitty brand or we are a horrible supplier because we provided this game that made me lose all this money. So if we can do everything so good to make the money coming in, we should be able to be proactive and track this inside the system before the worst case scenario happens, which would be that the player loses everything, and in the absolute worst case scenario, they actually go and kill themselves, which happens. So now with the new technology, with the AI coming in, which I'm very passionate about, it's super easy to track exactly what's going on. You can see second by second by second, and you can have warning pop-ups. You can have everything coming up on your screen saying that X player have now deposited 10 times over the limit, or 10 times as much as it should do according to our standards within the company. And this is the company's responsibility. I would say the operator in this case, to set the bar. What do we think is responsible gambling? Okay, we think that the maximum deposit per day is 2, or we think that the number is X, Y, Z. This is for us. And then if you apply AI to that, then you can see, okay, this person is over. This person needs a phone call saying, hey, are you okay? I think you're depositing too much. And then actually the person can say, yeah, but then they can show proof of wealth, whatever. If they want to keep playing and they have $1 billion, happy days. But if the person cannot, and they're basically down to their last penny, they should be excluded. And that it's important, because it's our industry that we need to live on. So again, we need to be much more proactive, and that's why I think it lives in the system.
Thank you, Lars. Do we have any question from the audience?
I don't think we have time for questions. I'm sorry.
Okay, then I will just conclude the panel. Thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you.
I believe the bottom line is that the data is here, the power is here. I believe it very much relates to what Lars was saying. I mean, what seems like an effective way is to top-bottom approach with this, because if the company leaders are gonna set up the threshold, set up the benchmark, where is the threshold, where is the line where we should act, how we should behave, and if they are gonna be able to implement this throughout the company, through different departments, and have a actionable plan for them, this is what you are supposed to do. If things like that are happening, then gradually the culture is going to change and the more responsive approach is going to lay down, and everybody will be feeling they are contributing towards this with their own portion. Thank you very much for your contributions again. It was very nice to be talking to you in this morning, and I hope you have enjoyed it as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.